Good morning, YouTube. Hope everyone's doing well out there in the world wide web of things. Today I was going to do a little project and I thought I'd bring you along. And I'll say this up front, I'm not um, very proficient. In fact, the one part of what I'm going to do today I've never done before, so I'll just do it the first time with you guys and we'll see how it goes. But what I'm going to make is um, a gourd bowl with a pine needle rim. So I got some pine needles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sew them onto the rim, like so, but thicker. I don't think you can even see that, but much thicker, and all the way around. So I've made bowls before, obviously. I've got different kinds of bowls and little scoopers and stuff that I use. Um, but this will be the first time that I make a bowl with the sewn on pine needles. So let's get right into it, and I'll show you how I do the first few parts, and then like I said, the pine needle part we'll just have to do together, figure it out as we go. Get yourself a gourd. Um, this one probably could use to dry for a little bit longer, but I figured for educational purposes, it's good enough. Get yourself some a steel scrubby, steel wire scrubby, and clean your gourd real good. It helps to soak it, um, soak it and weigh it down so the whole thing's underwater, and it'll be real easy to scrub. I didn't scrub the top, as you can see, because I'm not going to use the top. I'm going to cut this off somewhere around here, and I just in trying to be expeditious, I just didn't bother scrubbing it. So Um, get your gourd. You're gonna need a couple things to start off with because what we want to do first is trace our bowl height on there, and then we'll cut our bowl out. So I had found that this is about the height that I want for my bowl. If you can see, it lines up pretty good. It's near the widest part of the gourd, so I'm maximizing the width of it and everything. Um, so what you do is you just take it, switch hands because I'm a righty, line it up with the gourd, and then just slowly spin the gourd around, trying to keep the gourd nice and flat. Take your time. I mean, you'll be happier if you take your time with the outcome, and you can always draw a second line again because you can sand this marker off if you need to. But you just kind of follow it around. Like I said, take your time and try to keep everything lined up. So it should look something. I got a goofy little spot over here, but yeah, it's okay. It should come out relatively equal. Let me go over that part. That's the only part that didn't really come out that good. Let me go over it and see if I can make that a little better. Dips real low right there for some reason. So that's good. I'll take it. I'll buy that for $1. Now you could take a regular crosscut saw and just go into it and try to do it that way. That would be probably the most difficult way. I have a Dremel tool that I use for this kind of stuff. So we'll take this out, get it set up. Hmm. These tools are fabulous for doing trim work and like any kind of small cutting, flooring or anything like that. They just cut so well and so fast. And remember, folks, like drawing that line, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you're looking to get perfect out of it, you're going to be sadly disappointed because you're working with something relatively organic that's got bumps and contours and things. Um, yeah, I don't know. Set this down there. My chair just sunk. Okay. This is probably kind of loud. I'll try to. But the rind is only somewhere between about an eighth to maybe a quarter of an inch thick. So you don't really have to do a heavy amount of cutting. So two pieces, one full of seeds, and the old meat. This stuff dries up and it's a lot like styrofoam. It's just empty, very light. So let me clean out the bowl. So tell this is a little wet on the inside. It's not wet, it's just it's a little damp. All right, so there we go. All nice and clean. Now you can take some sandpaper, or you can even take the steel wool or a spoon, anything you want, and you can go and scrape out the inside and make it nice and smooth. I'm not going to do that because I don't plan on using this for anything special. It's really just a test run for me to see if I can stitch needles, stitch pine needles onto it. It's really just what I'm doing. But this is definitely the best little tool. I got this Dremel and I got another Dremel I'll show you here in a second. And they both they're just really great, really handy little tools. Put this down. So if you're like me and you messed up on your cut a little bit, just grab some sandpaper, some 60 grit, some 80 grit sandpaper, and go ahead and just knock those high spots off. If you got any of the old paint left over from the marker, just sand that off as well. Now, the people that are really good at this stuff, I don't think they sand their gourds. I heard the one woman say that it leaves scratch marks and things like that. But um, again, I'm trying to be a little expeditious with it. I don't want to be sanding or scraping with a spoon or something like that that takes all day. So do what you do. Now, I've done a few of them now, and I don't mind the sanding. I haven't really finished any with a stain or anything like that. So um, none of the sanding really shows up. Okay, so what I gotta do now is I gotta make a line all the way around the outside, and then I gotta put little tick marks at every quarter inch. And where those lines cross, I'll drill a small hole. So, do I have a pencil? I thought I had a black pencil out here somewhere. Dropped it on the ground. Okay, so if you got a compass, or yeah, the compass would work well. You can set it to the diameter and you can just go all the way around. I don't have that. I'm going to try to do an old trick I used to do with woodworking. How'd I do it? How'd I do it? So I'll draw this line around, and then I'll draw little ticks every quarter of an inch, and that'll leave me with a crisscross pattern that I drill a hole at every crisscross on. That's about it. Okay. So you can just see I drew a faint line all the way around the top there. Should be able to see it there. And now what I'll do, first I'm going to mark a quarter inch on my thumbnail here. And what that'll do is give me a uniform size. And I'm just going to go around and I'm going to mark holes every quarter inch using that little tick mark I just put on my thumb. And you can see that. And then I just run my thumb along the edge here, and I just tick off what I need to tick off. And I'm holding it with my thumb and my finger, so it works out well. And this doesn't have to be perfect, folks. We're just not there. We don't, you're working with an imperfect object as it is. It's not like it's a perfect circle or a perfect oval or anything. It's a very imperfect wavy gourd. I just keep going around, ticking it off. Takes a little bit. Oh, hey, birdie bird. Little bird just landed here and took some of Morgan's hair for a nest. So we're just going to keep going around. I'm about 2/3 of the way around now. There's various ways to do this, and I encourage you, if you're going to try to do this method of sewing the needles onto the gourd, like Google, there's some really, really good videos out there. And the one that I saw, um, they bought this tape that it was like a tape measure, but it was sticky. So you could unroll like a foot and put it onto your gourd, and then you just go around everywhere. It's a 1/4 inch. You tick it off, and the other way was to use a piece of masking tape and do something similar. Okay, we're almost there. And just tick it off every 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. You do what you do. I'm going to 1/4 inch because I think I need the strength of a 1/4 inch versus a gap of a 1/2 inch. Gotta hold this down here. My hand is getting tired. There we go. So now I'm left with all these little tiny tick marks, and where each tick mark intersects that main line, I'm going to drill a little hole. So let me go get my Dremel tool for that. My other Dremel tool. All I have on here is just a little tiny burr bit. I don't know if you can see it there. And it's just a little tiny cutting wheel. So you could use a drill bit, which probably work just as good. This kind of just buzzes right through it. So um, I'll get started, and I'll probably just speed you guys up because this takes a little bit of time. Right. So now I got all my little holes all the way around. I'm just going to go back and sand over the top of it and get rid of that pencil mark that I made. And clean up any of the rough stuff from drilling.
Nice. It's pretty good, so.
So now everything's all cleaned off. Hey, bird, you taking more for your nest? Is that for your nest? Huh? Yep. Little woodpecker. Got a nest somewhere. But so now the fun part begins. We got our needle. This is just an embroidery needle. And I have some embroidering thread. This isn't really ideal. It probably won't be strong enough and it probably won't last. But it's all I had and I really wanted to try this technique. So but you want artificial sinew, I believe it is. So it's gonna have like a waxy substance on it. Um, that's what you're gonna want to use, not something like this. But we're gonna use embroidering thread, and you'll see how it goes. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Don't have my glasses on. I gotta try to thread that. Did I just do that? Man, it's hard to believe. So I'll pull a good amount through 2 arms lengths. I'll cut that there. So pine needles. Go and grab yourself some pine needles. The longer the better. What you're gonna get is each, and I don't know the name of it. I apologize, but each um, main thing of needles will have 3 needles on it. 1, 2, 3. So take all the tops and line them up. So I got 3, 6, 9, because each has 3, and 12. I'm just going to show you guys what I do. Then I just take a pair of snips, scissors, whatever, and I cut off the ends. And what you're left with is this little stick, this little bundle of needles. And this is what you're going to sew onto the basket. So, and this is my first time doing it. I think I'm going to start by putting in an anchor knot. That just seems like it would make sense. Because I can always go back over an anchor knot. Now, everything I saw, they said they just tie a square knot on the back side of the gourd. So let's do that. Let's just tie a simple square knot on the back side of the gourd. All right. So there. That's my first knot. What you want to do next is grab yourself. What I did is I went ahead of time and I cut up a bunch. If they're too stiff and brittle, soak them in some water. That'll help get them loosened up for you. And this is where I think I would have been better off leaving them together, because then I could have counted out equal numbers of needles in each bundle. But get yourself a good set of needles, and on the end, see how they're all lined up flat right now? It looks like it's just been cut off, right? Don't do that. Push it so you got some, and it looks like this, like a slant. That way you can blend them together when it comes time to meet end over end. So you're gonna just take your needles and you're gonna start lashing them to the gourd. Mm-hmm. It might take you a few stitches to get a hold of them so you can actually let go. This woman that I was watching do this, she used a straw as like a guide, and it was ingenious. I don't have any plastic straws, but if I did, that's what I would be doing. So then you just keep working your stitch down the line, tightening things up as you go, pushing your needles into position as you go, because they're gonna want to ride down low, but you want them to try to keep them up high on the rim. So what I'll do is I'll just speed this up for a little bit, and we'll get right back to you guys. You can see how it's starting to look. So just gotta adjust my pump for a minute. Things gonna keep going off if I don't. I feel like there's a better stitch to do, and I don't know it. I kind of wish I did, because what I'm stitching now, it's almost like if it comes out anywhere, the whole thing's gonna unravel. But I didn't know what else to stitch. Don't know any other stitches, I don't think. So just keep working this around. And when your bundle starts to get thin, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm almost there. We're just gonna insert a few more needles into the bundle and fatten it back up. That's all. And then you just keep doing that around. It's nice to do them at different lengths because oops, just broke a needle. Okay. Not going too bad. Now I want to add in a few more needles. I'm just going to grab a little pinch. And I'm going to slide them in here. Try to get it in the middle if I can. All right. And then you just keep on sewing. A couple of those needles fell out. Not a big deal. We'll catch them. Looking pretty good. I'm going to tie this off here for a second because I need to add more needles. All right. Not too shabby. I gotta definitely go back and fix up a couple spots. Let's see if we can snip some of these long ones off here. Oh, what do you think, folks? Doesn't look too shabby. Gotta trim that spot up right there. Yeah. I think what I'm gonna do is stitch back the other way and see if I can get. Needles out of it. So this is looking kind of cool. So I'm just going around, and you can see it's kind of making a crisscross type shape. But let me just keep going here. It's definitely making the needles more secure, and that's really what I was aiming to do. I just didn't like how it felt one with one lashing. I think two, one in each direction is much better. And then you can stain it or paint it or do anything you want to it. I probably should have done that first, but this is really just a tryout. Now I know what it entails. I don't know if it's something I really want to do. Almost halfway. There. So that's that. Wow, I'm pretty pleased with it for the first time. Spin it around here. Oh, it looks pretty cool. I'll throw it on the counter and let it continue to dry out. But boy, it's tricky to get those needles on there. Makes me want to try a different way to do it, but that still came out pretty cool, all things considered. But that's all I got for you today, folks. I know a long video. I'll shorten it up a little bit, but I know it's pretty long. But thanks for watching and have yourselves a great day.